Hello, and welcome to this video on workflow rules. Most businesses often spend a substantial amount of time in manually sending payment reminders to their subscribers, engaging with leads, or simply tracking their follow-ups. These tasks are time-consuming, and they take up much of the sales rep's time, which can very well be spent on actual selling. With workflow rules in Zoho CRM, you can automate most of the routine activities in various stages of your sales process and work efficiently. For example, as soon as the details of a lead from Japan is created in your CRM account, you can automate sending a personalized welcome email, and a follow-up task can be created for the sales reps automatically when the lead stage is modified to negotiation. Let us see this workflow in action. We create a new lead here in the Leads module by entering the last name, email address, phone number, the country as Japan, and the account information. After saving this new lead under the Emails Related list, you can see that an email is automatically sent to the new lead. Now, let's edit the lead stage to negotiation. Here, under the Open Activities Related list, you can see that there is a follow-up task created automatically. Let's see how this automation is done. Setting up workflow rules requires important steps like adding the basic details, specifying the rule trigger, workflow conditions, and the actions. Let's go through each one as we configure this workflow rule. The basic details include the module for which the workflow is being set up, and the name and the description of the workflow. Rule triggers are nothing but the action that triggers the workflow rule. This can be based on a record's action. As you can see, the rule can be triggered when a record is created or edited, deleted, or when specific fields are updated. It can also be based on a specific date-time field's value, where the rule will be executed weekly, monthly, or yearly based on that date field's value. Additionally, you can also use the record score, which is calculated using scoring rules. For our example, let's select Created or Edited. The next element of the rule is the condition. This is where you can determine for which record the workflow rules should be executed, and the instant or scheduled actions that follow. In this case, the system should filter out only the leads from Japan, so we will mention that as the criteria. Actions here include assigning a task, sending email notifications, updating a field in the record, adding or removing tags, and calling a webhook or a function. These can be triggered instantly when the rule is executed for a record, or they can be scheduled at a later time. For instance, in our example, we send the acknowledgement email as an instant action. This is one condition, but similarly, we can add multiple conditions. For our example, the second condition would be when the lead stage is negotiation. The instant action to be triggered would be to create a follow-up task for the sales rep. As you can see, workflow rules help immensely in automating the repetitive tasks in your business process. Let's consider another example. Zilker is a real estate firm that has multiple automation requirements for their business process. Lead qualification is a tedious task as there are a number of leads that come into their CRM. Automating this would streamline their process and also help their real estate agents in spending more time on actually selling. So, Zilker wants to convert the leads that are interested in buying a property automatically into opportunities and customers, and also the company that they belong to must be added to the Companies module. Let's see how we can achieve this using workflow rules. We go to the workflow rules again and create it for the Leads module. For the rule trigger, let's select Field Update. You can check this if you want the rule to be executed whenever a lead is edited. Let us uncheck it because once the lead is converted to a contact, it will no longer be a part of the Leads module. Select the field Lead Status here. You can select up to 3 fields. It can be executed if all the fields are updated or if any of the fields are updated. Here, we specify the conditions based on which the rule has to be executed. Let's specify the condition to be lead stage is interested in booking. You can select all leads if you want the rule to be executed for all of the leads in your CRM account. For our example, let's select Instant Action. For the Leads module, we have a built-in convert function. Click Convert. By using this option, you can automatically convert a lead to a contact, create an account with the lead's company name, and also create a deal for it. Let's check Contact and Account. Assign a record owner here. If not, the lead owner will automatically be assigned. Then click Save. Save the entire workflow rule. Now, whenever a lead status field is updated to interested in booking a property, they'll automatically be converted into a contact and an account is also created. Workflow rules for all of the modules will have similar rule triggers and conditions and actions. 3 exceptions would be workflows for calls and workflows for emails, as well as workflows for social. Workflows for calls have triggers specific to the calls module. Say you want to create a follow-up task for the sales rep whenever they missed a call by a customer or a potential customer. It's important that all calls are effectively followed up with. In this case, we'll be creating the workflow for the calls module with the rule trigger being missed call. You can even specify the conditions based on the call details, like call duration, call owner, subject, etc. The instant action would be a follow-up task created for the record owner. Even scheduled actions can be configured as always based on the condition. Similarly, workflows for emails will have rule triggers specific to the emails module. The rule triggers in this case would be when an incoming or an outgoing email is received or unreplied or opened and clicked. For instance, if you receive an email from a sender that is unknown to the CRM system, you can create a new record with that email. Let's create the rule for the emails module. The rule trigger here is when an incoming email is received. Under the condition, we mention the criteria as subject contains inquiry, and the rule is applied to unknown. The instant action would be to create a record. You can choose if you want to create a lead or a contact and also assign owners to them. Save the rule and you're set. Another important configuration would be workflow for social, which will be active if you have integrated Zoho CRM with Zoho Social. As you can see, the modules will be Facebook and Twitter, and you can create workflow rules for leads, contacts, and accounts who interact with your Facebook and Twitter handles. Let's say you want to be notified in your CRM system when someone mentions your brand on Twitter. We select the Twitter module. The rule trigger would be when someone mentions your Twitter handle. Under conditions, if the handle mentioned is Zilker Real Estate, we apply it for all leads. The action would be to notify you, and you can be notified via Click or Slack about the mention. Let's say whenever someone comments on your company's Facebook posts, you want to have an automatic reply to assure customers that you're acknowledging their interaction. Let's see how we can configure this. We can create a workflow rule for the Facebook module. The rule trigger would be when someone comments on my post. The condition would be for all leads. And the instant action here would be to reply to comment. Here, you can configure the message that you want and then save. You can edit a workflow rule anytime by selecting it. Additionally, when you have a bunch of workflows created, activate or deactivate with the help of the toggle button here. You can also delete it by clicking on the icon here. Apart from that, Zia suggests workflow rules for you based on the type of recurring actions that your organization performs. You can enable or disable Zia recommendation for workflow suggestions from here. And finally, when you have multiple active workflow rules and emails being sent, it is always good to keep track of the usage and statistics. You can do that by choosing a workflow and clicking the View Usage link. This will provide the workflow usage report, which is designed to give you record counts at each configuration stage in the workflow rule. For example, you can view the number of records that qualify a particular trigger the total number of records that satisfy a given condition, the record count for instant or scheduled actions, and more. There you go. That's how you can configure and automate numerous sales and marketing activities using workflow rules in Zoho CRM. Thank you for watching this video. For more resources on Zoho CRM, visit www.zoho.com/crm/resources.